Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving into something you guys specifically requested.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, how to really make an impact online in 2025.
Cool.
And you sent over the ultimate blueprint for digital growth in 2025.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that's a pretty big promise, right? So we're going to break it down and see what it's all about.
Right.
And, this whole article really focuses on the idea that it's not enough to just exist online anymore. It's about making a lasting impression.
It's true.
And
what I think is really interesting is that the article kind of highlights this big shift.
yeah.
That your digital presence is like your first handshake with the world now.
Oh, wow.
It's really like the foundation for success, no matter what industry you're in.
That's a powerful image. I like that.
Yeah.
It makes me think about, how am I presenting myself online? Is it a firm handshake or is it kind of like a flimsy one,
Right.
Really drives home the point that people are already checking you out online before they even meet you in person.
Yep.
I know I'm guilty of it. Like if I'm meeting someone new or even trying a new product, I'm doing a quick Google search.
Of course, yeah.
Just to see.
And that online presence really shapes perceptions.
Yeah.
It builds trust, and it ultimately, influences decisions.
Totally.
This article even uses the phrase, visibility leads to credibility.
Ooh, I like that.
Meaning if people can't find you online, they might question how legitimate you are.
Okay, so visibility is key. But it's not just about showing up once and then disappearing, right?
Right.
The article also talks about this idea of consistency building relationships.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean in a digital context?
Well, think about it this way.
Okay.
Would you trust a friend who, only pops up every few months?
Probably not.
Right. Probably not.
Yeah.
The same principle applies online.
Okay.
Regularly sharing valuable content, engaging with your audience, and showing up consistently helps you stay top of mind.
Right.
And it builds that crucial trust factor.
It's like nurturing a plant, right? You need to water it consistently if you want it to thrive.
Exactly.
So we've got visibility and consistency.
Yeah.
But there's also this idea of engagement driving loyalty.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The article emphasizes that it's not enough to just broadcast your message.
Okay.
You need to create a two-way dialogue with your audience.
Right.
Responding to comments, asking questions, and fostering a sense of community all contribute to a more engaging experience.
Yeah.
Which in turn drives loyalty.
Makes sense. People want to feel seen and heard, not just talked at.
Right.
They want to know that there's a real person behind the screen.
Absolutely.
So the article lays out 8 key steps to achieve all of this digital success.
Okay.
Let's dive into the first one. Defining your digital identity.
Yeah, and they start with a really thought-provoking question.
Oh.
Who are you online? Sounds simple, but it's actually quite profound.
Yeah.
It's about understanding your purpose, your audience, and how you want to come across.
I know I've struggled with that in the past, trying to be everything to everyone and then ending up sounding inauthentic.
Right.
The article actually says, let your digital voice reflect who you truly are.
I love that.
How important do you think authenticity is in today's digital world?
I think it's more important than ever.
Really?
Yeah, in a world that's saturated with all this perfectly curated content.
Yeah, it's true.
People crave genuine connection, and they can spot a fake a mile away.
Yeah, that's true.
So, being true to yourself,
Yeah.
embracing your quirks, and letting your personality shine through will resonate with your audience far more than trying to fit into some preconceived mold.
It's about being relatable, right?
Yes.
People connect with people, not with perfectly polished facades.
Exactly.
Okay, so once we've figured out who we are online, the article jumps into harnessing the power of AI.
Okay.
I'll admit, this one makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
It feels like AI is taking over everything these days.
It can feel that way.
Yeah.
But the article makes a crucial point. AI is a tool.
Okay.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
True.
The key is to understand its capabilities and use it strategically to enhance your digital presence, not replace your human touch.
So it's about finding the right balance between human and machine.
Exactly.
Give us some concrete examples of how AI can actually help us boost our digital presence.
Well, one area where AI really shines is automation.
Okay.
Think about all those tedious tasks that eat up your time,
Oh, yeah.
like scheduling social media posts,
Oh, yeah.
responding to common inquiries, analyzing data.
Yeah.
AI can take all of those tasks off your plate,
Okay.
freeing you up to focus on higher-level activities that require your unique human skills.
That's a huge relief.
Right.
It's like having a digital assistant who handles the grunt work while you focus on strategy and creative thinking.
Exactly.
The article also talks about using AI for personalization.
Yeah.
What exactly does that look like?
Imagine being able to tailor your message to each individual.
Whoa.
Based on their preferences or past interactions,
Okay.
AI can analyze data about your audience, and help you deliver highly targeted content that feels personalized and relevant,
Wow.
making people feel seen and understood.
That's impressive. That's like having a mind reader who knows exactly what your audience wants.
Right.
And what about this whole thing about AI helping us stay ahead of trends? Is that really possible?
Yeah, so the article highlights using AI-driven insights
Okay.
to predict future trends and adjust your strategy accordingly.
Okay.
For example, AI can analyze data from social media, search engines, and other sources to identify emerging trends and patterns, giving you a competitive edge.
So it's like having a crystal ball for your digital presence.
Kind of.
No more guessing games, just data-driven decisions.
Exactly.
Okay, we've defined our identity and enlisted the help of AI. Now let's talk about social media.
Okay.
I know it's supposed to be our superpower,
Right.
but sometimes it feels more like a chaotic battlefield.
I hear you.
Yeah.
The article breaks down social media success into 3 key tactics.
Okay, let's hear it.
First, mastering the nuances of each platform,
Okay.
because what works on Instagram might not work on LinkedIn.
So it's not about being everywhere.
Right.
It's about being strategic and choosing the platforms where your target audience hangs out.
Exactly. The second tactic is engaging meaningfully in real time,
Okay.
responding to comments, answering questions, hosting live Q&As.
Yeah.
These are the actions that build trust and make people feel like they're part of a community.
I love that. It's about having real conversations, not just broadcasting into the void.
Right.
What's the third tactic?
The article suggests experimenting with ads strategically.
Okay, ads can feel like a necessary evil.
Yeah.
But how can we use them effectively without being annoying or intrusive?
The key is targeting.
Okay.
Don't blast your message to everyone.
Right.
Focus on the people who are most likely to be interested in what you have to offer. AI can actually play a role here,
Oh, really?
helping you identify and reach the right audience with the right message at the right time.
So it's about being smart and intentional with our ad spending.
Exactly.
Okay, we've covered identity, AI, and social media.
Mm-hmm.
What's next on this digital blueprint?
Step 4 is all about creating content that resonates.
Okay.
And the article doesn't mince words. Content is king.
Content is king. I hear that all the time.
It's true.
But with so much content out there, how do we make sure ours actually stands out and grabs people's attention?
The article offers some great advice.
Okay.
First, focus on solving problems your audience actually faces.
Okay.
Don't just create content for the sake of creating content.
Right.
Think about the challenges your audience is struggling with and create content that provides valuable solutions.
That's so true. It's about being helpful and relevant.
Definitely.
And what about the format? Should we stick to blog posts, or are there other ways to engage our audience?
The article suggests mixing up your content formats to keep
Okay.
things fresh and interesting.
Like what?
Experiment with videos, infographics, reels, even audio content like podcasts.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's all about finding the formats that resonate most with your audience and align with your brand.
So it's about finding the right balance between information and entertainment.
Right.
But even with the best content in the world, consistency is key, right?
Yes.
You could have the most amazing blog post, but if it gets buried under a pile of other content, no one would ever see it.
Exactly. That's why step 5 of the blueprint is all about building a consistent content strategy.
Okay.
Because even the most brilliant content will get lost in the digital noise if you don't have a plan.
I've been guilty of this myself. I get excited, create a bunch of content, and then life gets in the way and I fall off track.
It happens.
What's the secret to staying consistent?
The article outlines 3 must-dos.
Okay.
First, plan ahead using a content calendar.
Okay.
This will help you stay organized, map out your content themes, and ensure you're posting regularly.
So it's about being proactive and intentional rather than just winging it.
Exactly. The second must-do is repurposing content smartly.
Okay.
Don't let your hard work go to waste.
Right.
Take that long-form blog post and turn it into bite-sized social media updates, a short video, or even an infographic.
I love that. It's about maximizing the value of our content and reaching different audiences in different ways.
Right.
What's the third must-do?
Staying adaptable.
Okay.
The digital landscape is constantly changing.
Yeah, it's true.
So you need to be willing to adjust your strategy as needed.
Okay.
What worked last year might not work this year.
That's a great reminder to stay flexible and be open to trying new things.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground so far.
We have?
I'm starting to feel a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Is there any hope for those of us who aren't like digital marketing gurus?
Don't worry, step 6 is all about using tools that simplify your life.
Okay, that's a relief. Tell me more about these life-saving tools.
Okay, well, for scheduling, platforms like Hootsuite or Buffer
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Can help you manage your social media presence and ensure you're posting consistently.
So no more late night scrambling to get that post set on time.
Exactly. What about visuals? We all know how important those are for grabbing attention.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Canva's a game changer.
Canva, yeah.
It's so user-friendly,
It is.
and it allows you to create professional-looking graphics even if you have zero design skills.
Canva is definitely a lifesaver. And what about tracking our progress? How do we know if all this hard work is actually paying off?
Well, tools like Google Analytics
Okay.
provide valuable data about your website, traffic, audience demographics, and content performance. They can help you see what's working, what's not, and adjust your strategy accordingly.
Data is power. I'm loving this focus on working smarter, not harder.
Right.
So we've streamlined our workflow. We've got our tools in place.
Yeah.
What's next on this digital success roadmap?
Step 7 shifts the focus to community building.
Okay.
This is where we tap into that fundamental human need for connection.
Yeah, we all crave a sense of belonging.
Right.
But how do we translate that into the digital world?
Well, the article emphasizes authentic engagement as the foundation of community building.
Okay.
Responding to comments, asking questions, sparking conversations, and genuinely making people feel seen and heard is crucial.
So it's about fostering a two-way dialogue, not just broadcasting our message.
Exactly. Another powerful tactic is encouraging user-generated content.
Oh, I like that. It's about empowering our audience to share their stories and become part of the narrative.
Precisely, and finally, the article stresses the importance of inclusivity.
Okay.
Creating a space where everyone feels welcome, respected, and valued is key to fostering a thriving community.
That's so important. It's about building a community that reflects the diversity of the world we live in.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're nurturing our community, engaging authentically, and creating a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
What's the final step on this digital journey?
The last step is all about embracing emerging trends.
Okay, let's get futuristic. What kind of trends are we talking about?
The article highlights a few that are particularly relevant for 2025.
Okay.
First, interactive content,
Like what?
like polls, quizzes, and live sessions,
Okay.
that allows for direct engagement with your audience.
Oh, I love that. It's about turning passive viewers into active participants.
Right. What else is on the horizon? Sustainability messaging is becoming increasingly important
Okay.
as people want to support businesses that align with their values.
Right.
It's about being transparent about your practices and showcasing how your work contributes to a better future.
It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. What's the last trend? The rise of micro-influencers.
Okay, I've heard that term, but I'm not totally sure what it means.
Yeah, these are individuals who have a smaller but highly engaged following
Okay.
within a specific niche.
Gotcha.
And their recommendations carry a lot of weight
Yeah.
because they're seen as more authentic and relatable.
So it's about tapping into those niche communities and building authentic connections.
Precisely, the article ends with a call to action.
What is it?
Stay curious, explore, and experiment.
I love that.
The digital world is constantly evolving.
It's true.
So those who are willing to adapt and embrace new ideas will thrive.
Wow, that was a whirlwind tour of the first 7 steps to digital success.
I know, right?
I'm already feeling inspired to revamp my online presence.
That's great.
It's a lot to take in, but remember, you don't have to do everything at once.
Of course not.
Start by focusing on 1 or 2 areas that resonate with you and build from there.
Exactly.
That's great advice. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
Yeah.
We've talked about defining our digital identity, harnessing the power of AI, mastering social media, creating compelling content,
Right.
building a consistent content strategy,
Yes.
leveraging helpful tools,
Yes.
and fostering a thriving community.
It's a lot.
It is, but it's all important.
Yeah,
And we've even touched on the importance of staying ahead of the curve by embracing emerging trends.
it's true.
It's been a jam-packed episode, but before we wrap up part 1, I'm curious about your take on the article's final point,
Okay.
their call to action.
Yeah.
They offer personalized guidance to help people apply these 8 steps.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's pretty common for articles like that to promote their own services.
Right.
It's really up to you to decide if that's something you need.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of whether you choose to work with them or not,
Yeah.
the information they've provided is valuable and actionable.
I agree. We've gotten a solid foundation to build upon.
Absolutely.
But the real work comes in putting it all into practice.
That's where the fun begins. Remember, the digital world is your oyster.
I love that. All right, folks, that's a wrap for part 1 of our deep dive into digital presence in 2025.
Right.
Join us next time as we continue exploring this fascinating topic.
We'll be back with more insights and practical tips to help you navigate the ever-changing digital landscape.
See you then. Bye.
Welcome back to our deep dive into digital presence in 2025.
I'm excited to pick up where we left off. We unpacked a ton of information in part 1.
I know, right? It was a lot.
Yeah, covering the first 7 steps outlined in that Ultimate Blueprint article.
Right.
But one thing that really struck me
Yeah.
is that this isn't just about like checking off a list of tasks.
Right.
It's about cultivating a whole new mindset.
Absolutely. It's a shift from simply being present online to actively creating an impact and nurturing those connections.
And, the article focused mainly on building that digital presence. But what about sustaining it?
That's a great question.
Yeah, how do we make sure our efforts aren't just a flash in the pan, but something that lasts?
Well, that's something a lot of people struggle with.
Right.
Because the digital landscape is constantly changing.
Yeah.
So we can't just set it and forget it.
It's like tending a garden. You need to keep weeding, watering, and adapting to the changing seasons if you want it to thrive.
Exactly. What are some key habits we can cultivate to stay ahead in this ever-evolving digital world?
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think continuous learning is crucial.
Okay.
We need to stay curious and open to new information, trends, and technologies.
Right.
The moment you think you know it all is the moment you fall behind.
So it's about being a lifelong student of the digital world.
Yes.
What does that look like in practice? Are we talking about attending conferences, reading articles, taking online courses?
All of that can be helpful, but it's also about actively experimenting with new strategies and tools, analyzing the results, and constantly iterating.
It's about embracing that test and learn mentality.
Yes.
Being willing to try things out, see what works, and adjust accordingly.
Exactly.
That can be scary though, right?
It can be a little scary.
Putting yourself out there and risking failure.
Definitely. Which brings us to another key principle. Resilience. Things won't always go according to plan.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Algorithms change, competition heats up, and sometimes our best efforts just don't land the way we hoped.
Right. It's easy to get discouraged when that happens.
Yeah.
How do we develop that mental toughness to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward?
Well, having a clear sense of purpose is crucial.
Okay.
Why are you doing this? What impact do you want to make?
Right.
Reminding yourself of your why can be a powerful motivator when you face challenges.
It's like having that North Star guiding you through the ups and downs.
Exactly.
I imagine having a strong support system helps too, right?
Absolutely. Which is why the article emphasizes community building as such a vital step.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Having a community of like-minded individuals who understand your journey
Right.
can provide incredible support, encouragement, and even accountability.
It's like having a cheering squad in your corner, pushing you to keep going even when it gets tough.
Exactly. But it's not just about receiving support.
Yeah.
It's about giving back to that community as well.
Right. It's a two-way street.
Exactly. Contributing your own knowledge, experiences, and encouragement creates a virtuous cycle that benefits everyone.
So we've got continuous learning, resilience, and community. What other insights did you glean from the article about sustaining digital presence?
Well, one thing that really resonated with me was the emphasis on the human element.
Okay.
You know, in a world increasingly dominated by algorithms and automation,
Yeah.
it's easy to forget that we're ultimately connecting with other people.
That's so important. We talked about authenticity earlier, but it goes beyond just being yourself. It's also about remembering that there's a human being on the other side of the screen with their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
Exactly. And approaching our digital interactions with empathy can make a world of difference.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Putting ourselves in our audience's shoes, trying to understand their needs and perspectives, helps us create content and experiences that truly resonate.
It's about shifting the focus from broadcasting our message to building genuine connections.
Right?
And that requires listening, right? Actually paying attention to what our audience is saying,
Yes.
responding to their comments, and engaging in thoughtful discussions.
Absolutely. Listening is crucial for building trust and rapport.
Right.
It shows that we value our audience's input and are willing to engage in a two-way dialogue.
It also helps us learn and grow, right? We can gain valuable insights from our audience's feedback, which can inform our content, our strategy, and our overall approach.
I completely agree. The article also touched on something that surprised me.
Oh, what's that?
The importance of vulnerability.
Vulnerability. That's not a word I usually associate with the digital world.
I know.
Which often feels very polished and perfect.
Right. But the article argues that vulnerability is actually a strength, not a weakness.
Interesting.
When we're willing to share our struggles,
Yeah.
our doubts, and our imperfections, it makes us more relatable and human.
It breaks down those walls and allows people to connect with us on a deeper level.
Exactly. It's about being real, not presenting some idealized version of ourselves.
Right, and that authenticity fosters trust and connection, which are essential for building a loyal audience and a thriving online presence.
Exactly. It's like that saying, people don't connect with perfection, they connect with authenticity.
Perfectly put. And building on that, the article highlighted the importance of fostering a culture of inclusivity.
Yes.
Making sure everyone feels welcome, respected, and valued in our online communities is essential.
Absolutely. It's about creating a space where diverse voices can be heard and celebrated,
Yeah.
reflecting the richness and complexity of the world we live in.
And doing so not only creates a more welcoming environment,
Right?
but also exposes us to new perspectives and ideas that can enrich our own understanding and creativity.
It's a win-win.
I'm realizing that sustaining a digital presence goes far beyond simply maintaining a website or posting on social media.
Right.
It's about nurturing relationships,
Yes.
embracing lifelong learning, and constantly adapting to the changing landscape.
It's a dynamic and ongoing process, but when we approach it with intention, authenticity, and a genuine desire to connect, it can be incredibly rewarding.
This conversation has really shifted my perspective.
In what way?
It's not about chasing algorithms or trying to game the system.
Right.
It's about building something meaningful and lasting.
And it's about remembering that at the heart of it all are human connections.
Those connections are what make our digital journeys truly worthwhile.
Well said. And that wraps up part 2 of our deep dive into digital presence in 2025.
Wow, already.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From continuous learning to resilience to the importance of community and vulnerability.
I'm excited to continue this conversation in part 3, where we'll explore some actionable strategies for putting all of this into practice.
Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into digital presence in 2025.
Yes.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. From the 8 steps outlined in that blueprint article to the importance of continuous learning, resilience, and community.
Been a lot.
But now I'm curious.
Yeah.
How do we actually put all of this into practice?
Right.
It can feel overwhelming to think about juggling all these elements,
Yeah.
especially in such a fast-paced digital world.
It's true. It can feel like a lot to manage.
Right.
But remember, you don't need to do everything at once.
Okay.
The key is to start small. Focus on your strengths and gradually build from there.
So instead of trying to tackle everything at once, maybe choose 1 or 2 areas to focus on first.
Exactly what resonates most with you from everything we've discussed.
Yeah.
What feels most aligned with your goals and your personality?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think for me, content creation is where my passion lies,
Okay.
but I often struggle with consistency.
Right.
So maybe focusing on building a solid content strategy would be a good starting point.
That sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about those helpful tools?
Uh-huh.
A content calendar can be a lifesaver when it comes to planning ahead and staying on track.
Right. No more last-minute scrambling to come up with a blog post idea.
Exactly.
But even with a plan in place, I sometimes hit a creative wall.
Yeah.
Any tips for overcoming those moments of content creation burnout?
Oh, yeah, those are inevitable.
Yeah.
Everyone experiences them from time to time.
Right.
One thing that helps me is to step away from the screen
Okay.
and engage in activities that spark my creativity.
Like what?
Going for a walk in nature, listening to music, or even just having a conversation with someone interesting
Oh, yeah.
can often lead to unexpected bursts of inspiration.
I love that. It's a reminder that creativity isn't just about sitting at a desk and forcing it.
Right.
It's about nourishing our minds and allowing space for inspiration to flow.
Exactly.
So we've talked about starting small and finding our focus.
Yeah.
What are some other practical tips for navigating the digital landscape in 2025 and beyond?
One piece of advice that often gets overlooked is to be mindful of your digital well-being.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
It's easy to get caught up in the constant stream of information and notifications,
It is.
which can lead to burnout and overwhelm.
I know I'm guilty of spending way too much time scrolling through social media.
It happens to all of us.
What are some strategies for creating a healthier relationship with technology?
Well, setting boundaries is crucial.
Okay.
Designate specific times for checking email and social media, and stick to those limits as much as possible.
Right.
Also, consider taking regular breaks from your devices
Okay.
to recharge and reconnect with the offline world.
That's a good reminder. It's so easy to get sucked into the digital vortex and forget to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, it's true.
Switching gears a bit.
Okay.
We've talked about the importance of embracing emergent trends.
Yes.
But with technology evolving so rapidly, how do we even keep up with all the latest developments?
It can feel like a constant race to stay ahead of the curve.
Right.
But remember, you don't need to be an expert on every new platform or technology.
Okay.
Focus on the trends that align with your interest and your audience's needs.
So instead of chasing every shiny new object, be selective and strategic in what we choose to adopt.
Exactly. And remember, continuous learning is key.
Yes, we talked about that.
Make it a habit to read industry blogs, listen to podcasts, and attend webinars
Okay.
to stay informed about the latest developments that are relevant to your field.
That's great advice. It's about being curious and staying open to new possibilities, while also being discerning about what we choose to invest our time and energy in.
Right.
Any other words of wisdom for those of us navigating this ever-evolving digital landscape?
One final thought that I'll leave you with is this.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
The beauty of the digital world is that it allows for constant iteration and refinement.
Right.
Try new things, see what works, and don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Each failure is simply an opportunity to learn and grow.
I love that. It's about embracing that growth mindset and viewing challenges as stepping stones on our path to digital success.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do this alone.
Okay.
Connect with other creators, join online communities, and seek out mentors who can offer guidance and support along the way.
That's such an important reminder. Building a strong support network is crucial for navigating the ups and downs of the digital journey.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I encourage you to take what resonates with you from this conversation and start experimenting.
Okay.
Take those first steps, even if they're small.
Mm-hmm.
And remember to celebrate your wins along the way.
That's fantastic advice. This deep dive has been incredibly insightful.
Yeah, I think so too.
We've explored the key steps to building a strong digital presence, discussed the importance of continuous learning and adaptability,
Yes,
and emphasized the power of human connection.
those are the key takeaways.
And to our amazing listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you've gained valuable knowledge and feel inspired to take your digital presence to new heights.
Absolutely.
Remember, the digital world is constantly evolving,
Yeah,
but the core principles of authenticity, connection, and value remain timeless.
it's true.
Embrace the journey, stay curious, and never stop creating.
Well said.
That's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
Until next time, keep diving deep.